screen is going to be down for the team. Right? The team video's over, and Tony says, okay, come up. And the screen's when the screen's going up, I'll come up. You move that out.
I'll move that first.
I'll move that. Cheers.
Show Ted your ring. See his ring? Flex. Be up here, Ted. Ted. You'll be up here pretty quick. Yeah. So this is on. So bring it out. Yes, it's just well, it's
No, what's in your recording stuff?
It might be what I said, because I'll tell you, there was stuff missing in the
Yeah.
earbuds.
Video. The screen is going up. Bring these chairs up.
I'm going to give you a microphone without the stand, and I'll put these things right there. You think most people are down? One city could go on at any time.
Oh, he did? Great.
But if it's advertised at 6, we probably should wait as close to 6 as possible, right? Look. 5 minutes. Well, even if we go on 5 or 10 minutes early, they're letting some speakers. It'll just be the introduction. Maybe about 5 on.
Just one early reminder to the inductees, at the end of the ceremony tonight, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you for being here this evening. Before we begin, I'd ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is to your left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Once again, welcome. My name is Bob McKeveny, and I am a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. At this time, I would like to recognize and identify other members of the committee that engage in this year-long process leading up to induction each year. So if committee members, if you'd please either stand, wave so people can see who you are. Tony Ferrara, Rod Verkey, Ted Novak, Liz Becht, Lisa Anderson, Mike Ferrara, Mike Merriam, Jody Verkey. Thank you to the committee members. And at this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Superintendent of Schools for the Seneca Falls Central School District, Dr. Michelle Reed, for some induction welcoming comments.
Thank you. Good evening. It's my pleasure to officially welcome you to the annual Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I want to extend a special congratulations to our inductees and thank you on behalf of the Seneca Falls Central School District for the contributions you have made to sports. So I'm going to give you a round of applause. Tonight, we are here to honor our inductees who have made their mark not only on Mynderse Academy, but also on the greater world of athletics. These individuals and teams have contributed to a variety of sports such as tennis, cross country, softball, wrestling, baseball, and football. And this is just a sampling of the sports being represented here tonight. However, we know it is much more than sports where the inductees have made their impact. To this day, my favorite part of being an educator was as a tennis coach and role model for young men and women for over a decade. I was mentioning to one of our committee members just the other day of how I'm still called coach by those students. Not English teacher for some reason, but they always remember me and call me always to this day, coach. The relationships and connections that are forged through sports are so invaluable and extend far beyond the walls of gymnasiums, turfs, or sports fields. So tonight, inductees, I congratulate you again. Thank you for the contributions you have made.
My trip. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much, the committee. Thank you very much.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce Lisa Anderson.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Tony. Good evening. 1972 could be called the birth date of women's interscholastic athletics. To honor that event and the women who did not have a chance to compete on the same scale as men prior to that date, a special ongoing award was initiated at the 2012 Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This award honors those women who were considered stellar athletes but not have the same opportunity to achieve the accolades that their male colleagues. This year, the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame Committee is proud to honor Kathleen Harrison as a forerunner to Title IX. This year's honoree was quite the leader and athlete. Among her achievements include Leaders Clubs in grades 7th and 8th, Girls Athletic Association in grades 11 and 12, member of the 600 Club and high game of 279 honors in bowling, softball player for Eisenhower College and local club teams, strong bocce player, coach for youth sports. Congratulations and welcome to this year's recipient, Kathy Harrison.
I was told this could be short and sweet, so I'd like to thank the committee for this recognition, and I'm proud to have my name along with all the former inductees into pre-Title IX, so thank you very much.
So just a couple of things. Inductees are going to get a crystal at the end of the night. We actually have the boxes. So when you leave, if you want that box to take the crystal home, please come up here. We'll make sure that you get that. The other thing is, in watching that initial 12 to 14-minute video, I would imagine sitting there knowing that in subsequent years, you're part of that legacy and know that you will be up there when future classes are inducted. So at this time, we would like to thank our donors, and in your program, you'll see them. I do want to point out the Bonifiglia Family Foundation is also a donor. Their name did not make it into the program. We want to recognize that. We also would like to thank the following for helping to make tonight and this weekend's event possible: Seneca Falls Central School District, Northeast College of Health Sciences, Finger Lakes One, Seneca Falls Country Club, MP Graphics, and Wilson Press. These donors and contributors help make our annual event and the recognition of inductees very special. Please help us in thanking them. So I think to what was alluded earlier, we'd also encourage you to help us keep this going and consider being one of those donors annually that help make this event possible. You can find information about this Hall of Fame on the school's website under Athletics under the pull-down tab. So please consider that as well so that we can honor future Hall of Famers. So this year's Lifetime Contributor has done so much for Seneca Falls Central School, for Mynderse Academy Athletics, and the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. He took his role as school counselor to a new level. He not only supported students in school, but also through athletics. He was often seen at events, and student athletes knew he was there. They knew he cared about their overall success as a student athlete. He gave us of his own time and resources to provide athletic event photos and posters to MA student athletes. He would make sure all students received the proper recognition and helped all student athletes recognize their contributions and success. He also created opportunities for students and student athletes to attend Syracuse sporting events and would often create opportunities for MA students to meet Syracuse coaches and athletes. Lifetime Contributor is the perfect recognition for the work that he did to support MA student athletes and the athletic program. Congratulations to this year's recipient, Tom Giruso. So I know he would absolutely love to be here tonight, but he is riddled with some medical conditions right now, which up until last week he planned to come. And I know that he said, Bob, do me a favor. Say hello to all those kids for me. I would love to see them. So maybe he's watching on somebody's phone tonight. Let's hope. But I'm going to accept the award on his behalf and also tell him that all of us appreciated the work that he did and that we will always remember his contributions. Thank you.
Take a picture of it with you. No? Okay, he doesn't want to do that. Our first inductee, who I know, well, I won't go on about his nerves because he's not nervous, because he participated in one of the rare sports of the world where it's just one-on-one, and if you make a mistake, you can't say, well, the center didn't get me the ball, or I was open and he didn't throw it to me. It's nobody out there but yourself. And this gentleman not only comes from a tradition, a family tradition of wrestlers, but as one of my former students, I had a number of conversations with his parents and relatives, all good, of course. There was never a bad thing with Rob. But he's one of the few, or I should say one of the many students, that when it came time to have family support, there were none that could equal the support that was given to this young man. He was considered one, if not the most dominant wrestler in our history. He had a great working relationship with our current Hall of Fame member and former coach, Coach Ward. He was part of a number of varsity undefeated teams. He participated in one sectional tournaments or classification finals. He's been to the state tournament. He's just a wonderful young man who has a great family, who is as hardworking as can possibly be. I need some tile work done, so if you don't do it when I ask you to, I may not call your name. But that's beside the point. Anyway, this gentleman always represented himself, his team, and Mynderse Academy in a positive manner, and it's my pleasure to call to the podium our next inductee, Robbie Elcott.
Try and make it quick. This is the part of the weekend that had my anxiety going. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone. I'm so proud to be inducted into the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. To have my name be a part of the group of folks who have done so many great things truly is an honor. And I just got to say, like, I won a couple of wrestling matches. Like, seriously, to have my name in the books with Verkey and Beth Ann Bradshaw and this awesome dude, Bill Pagano. I mean, I'm pretty lucky and very, very honored. There's no way I would have been able to achieve all of the goals I did on the wrestling mat without the support of so many. And I'd like to thank all the coaches I had in my youth. There's too many to name. All the practice partners I had, you're always there for me. All the wrestlers who ever beat me, you guys are the ones that pushed me to work harder. To my family who were present at every single match, your support gave me the strength I needed. The individual I owe the most to would be my father, Alan, who not only attended every match, but also drove me to all the practices and stayed to take notes for me. Of course, I have to thank Athletic Hall of Fame coach Kirk Ward. You helped me to achieve all of the accomplishments I did while wrestling for Mynderse Academy, and you're also an excellent role model for me and all of your wrestlers, both on and off the mat. You really are a class act, for sure. I want to also thank especially Liz Beck and Ted Novak for guiding me through the induction process. You guys made it very easy on me, and thank you. There are so many faces here tonight that I remember from back when I was in school, and some of you guys are on the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame board. It's folks like you that make Seneca Falls a great place for a guy like me to grow up and a great place for me to raise my family, and I appreciate the time that you put in to make that happen. There may not be another time I receive an award on stage in front of my friends and family. I'll remember this night for the rest of my life, and I sincerely thank you for it. Go Blue!
So kind of makes me remember that we should not underestimate the value of athletics in the role of education. Just look at what's going on here tonight. So our next inductee is one of, if not the best, cross-country runner that Mynderse Academy has ever seen. She earned her first varsity letter in 7th grade. As a matter of fact, I remember her saying to me, Mr. McKeveny, I have to leave early today. I'm going to a state championship. I'm like, okay. And I remember we gave her a great send-off. She's received the Team MVP award 3 times for cross-country and track and field. High honor roll student throughout her schooling. She participated in her first state championship at age 12. Participated in the state championship as a cross-country runner for 4 consecutive years. She has track and field school records in the 1,500 meter and 1,500 meters, 2,000 meter steeplechase, and the 3,000 meters. And you probably could figure that out from the display upstairs. Quite impressive. She's a Section 5 champion and state qualifier participant in track and field. Congratulations to our next inductee, Sierra Divine Endy, now a member of the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame.
Wait a minute, don't take this one yet.
Put that on the table.
All right, so I also made it short and sweet because I'm not nervous or anything. First off, I would like to thank the committee for putting this together and making it possible to recognize so many amazing athletes over the years. I'm beyond honored to be one of those athletes being recognized tonight. Running was such a huge part of my life during my time at Mynderse, and I know for a fact that those years truly helped shape who I am today. I can only say positive things about my experience on the cross-country and track teams, from all of the amazing teammates that I got to run with, to the amazing coaches who I'd like to thank tonight. Coach Densmore, Coach Esposito, and Coach Fleury made for such a positive and encouraging environment at every practice and every single race. They managed to do a really great job at making running fun, and that can be a pretty hard task to do. It was obvious that they all truly cared about each and every person on the team, and I always felt supported with whatever goal I had set for myself during that season. Whether it was making it to the state championship meet or breaking the school records, they were always cheering me on. And of course, I'd also like to thank my parents for being at every single race. Pretty sure I wasn't always in a great mood at all those races, so thanks for that. And I would also like to thank my brother, because the only reason why I run cross country was because he signed up on a whim, and I just wanted to do what he did, so thanks to Michael. That's probably the only reason why I run. And I would also like to thank my husband, Tom. We met in high school, we just got married, and he has supported me through everything, as well as my family and his family for being here tonight. This is truly the perfect way to close out that chapter of my life. I'm still gonna run, I'm just not as fast anymore. It's more of like a jog, but thank you.
Wrestling, cross country, tennis. Again, one-on-one, individual. Nobody can take fault for anything other than the person that's out there and who they are competing against. Our next inductee and I'm not much on the history going back before 1970 of tennis at Mynderse Academy. But this gentleman, by far, is probably has the most notoriety and probably the best tennis player that came out of Mynderse Academy. His records, which are in the program, are phenomenal. But again, as I said earlier, very good student, hard worker, great student athlete, but the contributions that he has made since high school has been over, since college is over, when he did all of these things and participated in not only interscholastic, intercollegiate, and other types of events, but what he has given back to the people when he comes back to work with other students, help pay for some to be participants in tennis, because he has a passion for it and he loves it. So it's my pleasure to introduce our next inductee, Miles Nipper.
Well, I will continue with the short and sweet speeches. Just kidding. Yeah, I got some things I want to say. So I stand before you deeply honored by this recognition. And before diving into my personal tennis journey, I really want to acknowledge a few people who played a pivotal role in shaping my career. First and foremost, to my parents, whose invaluable birthday gift of tennis lessons opened the door to the beautiful sport, even if they were in somebody's backyard, in a barn, on asphalt, with no heat in the winter. It still started my tennis career. Also, for bringing me to all those tournaments through the weekends, I owe you a debt of gratitude. Your sacrifices and belief in me laid the foundation for every success that I've achieved. To Coach Merriam of Mynderse Academy and Coach Rose of Onondaga Community College, I was blessed not only to be under the tutelage of exceptional coaches, but also incredible mentors. Your guidance transcended beyond the boundaries of the tennis court. You nurtured my growth as a player, and more importantly, as a human being. Your teachings have been instrumental, not just on my sports journey, but in the fulfilling life that I lead today. Lastly, to my dear friend and high school hitting partner, Tim Adler, our countless hours on the court at the Mike Merriam Tennis Complex was more than just practice sessions. They were intense battles, pushing our limits, honing our skills, and driving our mutual growth. Tim, your unwavering commitment and fierce competition propelled us both to new heights. And with that, I want to transition from the key figures in my life. And as I penned down this speech, I journeyed back to the early days, trying to pinpoint the moment that tennis really captured my heart. I think I was 12 or 13 years old. I had a mop of short red hair, and by no stretch of the imagination could I be called athletic. But even at that age, a voice inside me yearned for excellence in something, anything. My introduction to tennis was a little unconventional. I first glimpsed the sport at my friend Ryan Guerry's house, and the excitement of kids. We dashed outside and drew a line down the middle of the street with chalk, and we started rallying. We soon realized that street tennis had its pitfalls. Every missed shot turned into a marathon chase down the road, often covering a quarter mile to retrieve the ball. It wasn't the most efficient training method, but it was my inception of the love for the game. The sport appealed to me not just because I saw potential in myself, but because it brought genuine joy. And it wasn't just a physical outlet for me, it became an emotional sanctuary. Beyond the allure of competition and skill, tennis served as an anchor in my rough times. From a very young age, I grappled with an anxiety disorder, which is a silent battle that many might not be privy to. It was a constant choir of fears and doubts and racing thoughts that often threatened to overwhelm me. Yet every time I stepped onto the tennis court, the world outside dimmed. Engulfed in the spirit of the game, every serve, every volley, every match point became my main focus. The court transformed into a haven where my anxieties took a back seat and my passion for the sport took the wheel. And finding success in tennis was more than just accolades and wins. The tennis community became my refuge, a place teeming with like-minded souls who understood the pulse and rhythm of the game. As I ventured into college, leaving the comforts of my home was daunting, yet the tennis team was my ready-made family, sharing the love for the sport, making the transition much smoother. Tennis also paved the way for my professional journey. I had the privilege of imparting the skills I honed teaching tennis for several seasons and even post-college. I worked at some of the most prestigious places around the United States, including the United States Military Academy at West Point, Manufacturers Golf and Country Club in Philadelphia, River Valley Ranch in Carbondale, Colorado, and Windike Country Club in Memphis, Tennessee. My current professional career as a healthcare IT engineer came about through a meeting with the company's owner while I was teaching his son play tennis. It's astonishing to reflect upon the myriad of ways tennis has woven its threads into the fabric of my life. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about the victories. Yeah, winning felt exhilarating. Every practice session honed my skills, leading to more wins, which in turn boosted my confidence. It was a perpetuating cycle of growth and achievement. My high school years were adorned with patches and accolades, and the crowning moment was undeniably leading Onondaga Community College to a national championship. But as I stand here and reflect upon those golden moments, I realize that the essence of my tennis journey isn't encapsulated in trophies or titles. And I wanted to give a couple examples. One of the most profound lessons I ever learned on the tennis court came from Coach Mike Merriam, a stalwart of Mynderse Academy tennis history. The scenario was this. As a sophomore, I was rapidly ascending the ranks in tennis. The top 7 players are considered the starters, and the 3 at the top played singles, and the 4, 5, and 6, 7 played doubles. I was stationed at second doubles, effectively ranking me 6th or 7th on the team. But as the day went by, I bested the 6th, I bested the 5th, I bested the 4th, and in my mind, a single spot was beckoning. Yet, despite all the victories, I remained at doubles. In my frustration, I confronted Coach Merriam, and I asked, why am I still confined to doubles? His response was a lesson in itself. Because, he calmly stated, you're the better doubles player. It wasn't about personal glory or individual ranks. It was about the team's collective success. By placing me in singles, another player would be forced in the doubles, potentially overall weakening the team dynamic. It took a moment, but the gravity of his words sank in. True leadership and team spirit weren't about individual accolades or personal positioning. They're about seeing the bigger picture, putting the team before the self, even in a sport where it may seem more individualistic. It's a lesson that transcends the boundaries of the court, whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or any other domain of life. The essence of teamwork is about understanding and playing to everyone's strengths, setting aside the personal ambitions for the collective good. When every team member embodies this, that's when the magic happens. That's when individual efforts coalesce into something greater, creating a synergy that drives success. I owe this invaluable insight to Coach Merriam, whose teaching equipped me with a perspective that has been pivotal, not just on the court, but in every facet of life. In another chapter in my tennis odyssey, I folded at OCC during my second year. At that time, my skills on the court were undeniable, and I faced a different challenge. It was evolving into a leader. With everyone viewing me as the guy, I recognized that leadership wasn't just going to be about my skill. It was about fostering unity, mediating conflicts, and building trust within the team. To truly bind our team, I made it my mission to genuinely know each player. Instead of sticking to familiar cliques, I mingled, understood their aspirations, helped them navigate their journey. And to fortify these bonds, I initiated Sunday dinners in my dorm, with each player contributing, be it cooking, setting the table, or serving. We not only shared meals, but also moments, laughter, and dreams. These gatherings weren't about food, they were about the bedrock of trust and lifelong camaraderies. The real test of our unity came during the national championship in Plano, Texas. In a nail-biting situation, our third singles player was on the brink of defeat. a loss that would significantly dent our championship dreams. As I rushed to the court after my match, I looked across to the other side and saw the opposing team. They were dispersed, some seated, some sitting on the bench. I was up at the fence on the other side, hands on the fence. I looked to my left and I looked to my right. Every player on our team was standing at that fence, their voices ringing with cheers and unwavering support. That moment epitomized our spirit. It wasn't just about individual prowess, it was about the collective heartbeat that resounded with a singular purpose. And yes, our player turned the tide, clinching the match. That year we lifted the national championship trophy, not because we were a group of outstanding players, but because we were an unparalleled team. It was a testament to the power of unity and the magic that ensues when individuals transform into a singular force. And as a leader, I realized that it wasn't just about guiding the team, but about weaving a tapestry of trust, belief, and support. In reflection, tennis has been more than just a sport to me. It's been a classroom of life, teaching me lessons of perseverance and leadership, the power of community. I stand before you today humbled and grateful, not just for the accolades and championships, but for the journey and the people who walk beside me every step of the way. As I look to the future, I carry with me the memories and lessons and friendships that I forged on the tennis court. And to the young athletes out there, remember, it's not just about the titles or the rankings, it's about the journey and the growth and the family you build along the way. Thank you for this incredible honor. It's not just a recognition of my achievements, but a testament to the collective spirit of every coach, teammate, and supporter who has been part of my journey. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
So as mentioned earlier, you can find details and information about the Hall of Fame on the school website under the Athletics tab. But you can also find the form to nominate future Hall of Fame members, and I think you've heard that earlier. We would ask you to please consider doing that at a time when you feel so inclined. We'd also encourage you to visit the Hall of Fame display outside the Baker Gymnasium at Seneca Falls Middle School, the main event center. It's turned into quite a display, so if you've not been there recently, take the opportunity to attend one of the Mynderse events there and take a look at the Hall of Fame display. So as we continue this ride with winners and champions, it's time to honor our next inductee. He was a 1971 graduate of Mynderse. He lettered in football, wrestling, and lacrosse. Member of the 1970 undefeated football team. He was a defensive player on the lacrosse team. Member of the varsity wrestling team at Auburn Community College in 1973. Starting defensive end on the Plattsburgh football team. Elementary teacher in Queensbury for 31 years. Coach at Queensbury for 24 years. Founded and ran the Mat Rat Youth Wrestling Program and Tournament, helping pave the way for future wrestlers. Continued coaching football in his retirement years, still serves as a member of the football staff at Warrensburg and Lake George. He spent 33 years as part of the Capital District Wrestling Officials Association, officiated the state finals 3 times, created the Section 2 Team Sportsmanship Award, received the New York State Athletic Administrators Association Distinguished Service Award for Section 2 in 2010. He's made a lifetime commitment to youth wrestling and lacrosse programs, but he attributes his lessons learned from the Mynderse Academy coaches to his success. Congratulations to our next inductee, Frank Miller, now a member of the Hall of Fame.
If you watch the opening movie and didn't get a lump in your throat? I did. I'll do my best. It is an honor to be here tonight, standing before you. And I want to personally thank my friend Larry Justy for nominating me for the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame. Of course, I want to thank and acknowledge the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me for this honor. It seems like yesterday, although it was 2017, that I stood up here speaking on behalf of the 1970 Mynderse Academy undefeated football team. I learned a good lesson that night. My 5-minute speech went well over 10 minutes, and the people over here were telling me, cut it. So I made a promise to do my best to keep things shorter tonight. And like everyone else that's here being honored, I was an athlete at Mynderse. I was surrounded by many great individuals who were also great teammates. I wasn't a star, but I was lucky enough to be on some great teams led by even greater coaches. We seemed at that time to have a legacy for us to follow in sports like football, wrestling, basketball, baseball. My heroes were guys like Simpson, Pagano, Piscatelli, Verkey, Robinson, just to name a few. There were many more. So here I am tonight to thank those coaches who helped establish a foundation for me to grow from in my own coaching career. My coaching career started, believe it or not, in 1975 and continues today. George Davis, you all remember him, was a strong leader and a coach who was committed to perfection, and I do mean that. He paid attention to details and accepted less than nothing than 100% at all times. And his 1970 championship team was his last of many at Mynderse Academy and serves as an example for all of us that hard work does pay off. My next person was truly the toughest man I ever met in my life. That was Abe Myers. His wrestling teams were always fighting for championships. His strength and toughness rubbed off on all of us. I was a sophomore wrestling at 185 on a team that was absolutely stacked. I'm still not sure why I was the guy at 185. And we were wrestling East Rochester High School, who happened to be the best team in Section 5 year after year after year. And I had the dubious honor to face a kid from East Rochester named Tim Gay, who would go on to be a state champion. Well, Abe knew what was going through my mind. We were ahead 18-15, and a regular loss would leave the match a tie. He called me, he grabbed me, he shook my hands and said, "If you get pinned, don't come back." Well, somehow, I did finish the match, and our dual meet ended 18-18. We remained undefeated. Abe just came up and smiled and said, "See what a little motivation will do for you?" It did. My next gentleman was Al Henry. Now, Al was a young coach at the time from downstate, Cortland State graduate, and he was full of energy and enthusiasm, and he was a guy we had trouble understanding at times because of how fast he spoke. The lacrosse program at our school was in its infancy, but that didn't stop Coach Henry from instilling skills and a team concept that enabled us to improve in all areas of the game. And my best memory of us is playing Geneva, a team we had never beaten. It was a night game, and somehow Coach Henry convinced Coach Davis to let the lacrosse team play on the football field that night. That was in itself a major accomplishment. Well, we played the best game of our lives, and I believe Jimmy Sinicropi scored a goal late in the game that sealed our victory, and the smile on Al's face was priceless. His efforts were the baseline for future teams in Mynderse to grow from. And finally, I'm going to recognize Coach Carasillo for his behind-the-scenes support and guidance for those of us who needed a positive word in a challenging moment during our senior championship season. Some people might have called him a good cop. I just called him a great guy. To take it a step further, I graduated later from Plattsburgh State, came home, and enthusiastically said, hey, I want to be a teacher. They looked at me and said, well, it's June, it's the beginning of June, there's nothing here. Lo and behold, the next day there was an opening, and I got the phone call that said, hey, come on and teach 6th grade for the next 4 weeks. I was in over my head, but Mr. Carasillo was there every day to get me through my initial start as an educator. So it's my experience with these men, without a doubt, that gave me the foundation for what I needed to deal with in any situation in my coaching and professional career. My family is also here tonight, and I want to recognize my wife, Kathy, for her support for me and everything I've done. I love you. My children, Jason, Megan, and Matt. And their spouses are also here tonight, Jessica, Pat, and Katie. And I've been fortunate enough to coach my children, and believe it or not, I was able to actually coach with them in the past few years. 5 of my grandchildren are here tonight: Kyle, Keith, Olivia, Owen, and Christopher. In fact, we even have our foreign exchange student from Germany, Julian, here tonight. He just joined our football program, and he's discovered the joy of American football. Well, I did it. Again, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this honor. I'm truly blessed.
Our next inductee is a few years older than I am, but I remember seeing him for the first time on a football field and said, that's the biggest man I've ever seen. But probably one of the hardest working, most diligent people, because if one of his teammates wasn't focused or whatever, he set him straight pretty quickly. And I remember that as being like a 6th or 7th grader, and said, that's one gentleman I would not want to cross. But in addition to playing football and wrestle and being a track athlete and an all-star and a Section 5 champion and a shot put record holder in track and field, coaching youth sports in baseball and football, being very community-minded, organized fundraisers and community activities in Romulus, and most proud of his family, his wife, 3 children, grandchildren, and his grandson, who played on the Clemson 2016 National Championship team. So at this time, it's my pleasure to call to the stage our next inductee to the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame, Bill Pagano. You help him up, he'll knock you down.
Take his, you got it? Yeah, okay, thank you. Yep. It's all yours.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. He wants one of just you. Let me get out of the way. Want me to hold that for you, Bill, until you're done? I still can't get around them.
Yeah, I know. You know, first of all, I want to thank the committee for inducting me. It's been a long time. I got my family here. You know, Mynderse was great. Yesterday, we took a tour of the school. A lot have changed, but when I was there, it's still, the section is basically the same. I had a great career there. I was a champion, which is fantastic when you can do that. But I had a lot of good teammates that helped me along the way. And I have 3 things that really stood out in my career. 1, we played Lions in football. Mr. Verkey, he played, and I played tackle. Coach Davis had a play which was called a fire, where a rod would crash down, I would go out in the flat. I intercepted a pass, run it back for a touchdown. That's number 1. Number 2 was the semifinals and the sectionals. Coach Myers stood there with me. He says, "This kid is tough. He's mean. He'll do anything to win." He says, "He's going to lunge at you." He says, "You know what to do." They blew the whistle. He lunged at me, dropped down, had the half Nelson on him. 25 seconds, it was all over. And he went in, tore the locker room apart because I beat him. The next week, I went on to win the Section 5 championship. And the last was when I broke the school record in the shot put and held that record until the young man out here in the audience, Sean, broke the record in 2009. And I'll tell you what, that is the greatest thing that I can say tonight. And I hope that he holds the record either as long as I did or even longer. And I want to thank everybody again tonight. I've had a terrific weekend, and my bucket list is full now.
Stay there. I'm gonna go.
Okay, thank you.
I'll carry that.
Okay.
There's also another social hour tonight following this ceremony at the Country Club. Please feel free to stop by, visit, and continue with some of the stories and visits with each other. So our next inductee is a multi-sport athlete, also a member of the Mynderse Academy class of 2009. Started competing nationally in 6th grade. In 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, participated in track and field Junior Olympics, USA Track and Field Youth National meets, and placed and did a phenomenal job there. And that was just a foundation for what he was going to do once he started playing at Mynderse. He was Mynderse Academy varsity track and field member as an 8th grader. He was a member of the varsity football team, freshman, sophomore, and junior year, receiving league recognition. Member of the Mynderse Academy varsity wrestling team. Participated for 3 seasons, had a record of 77-30 with 46 pins, 10 consecutive pins, and additional recognitions. He was part of the beginning of the rebirth of the Mynderse Academy indoor track and field team in his senior year with the Section 5 title in the shot put, the 55-meter hurdles, and he also participated in the New York State meet. As an outdoor track and field member, held the New York State record for freshmen for the javelin throw, Section 5 title in the pentathlon, state qualifier participant, New York State meet participant, and the school record that still stands for the javelin throw. He proceeded on to SUNY Cortland, indoor and outdoor track and field career, javelin, shot put, discus, and hammer throw. He capped off his career with a SUNYAC title in the javelin throw, and he holds the Cortland record for that. Part of the ECAC Division III team champions in 2013. Congratulations to our next inductee, Sean Wilson, now a member of the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of you out there tonight. Right. Good thing you're all in your underwear. I'd like to first by saying thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you. It's a great honor to be here and a great honor to be inducted into Hall of Fame. I also like to say thank you to all the other inductees and congratulations. I read through all of your bios and they're truly inspiring stories. I'd like to say a special thanks to Rob Elcott. He'd come to wrestling practice and beat me up once in a while. It's a great experience, so thank you, Rob. He made me a better wrestler. Appreciated that. Joe, thank you for setting the shot put record. It gave me something to strive for in shot put. It was a great pleasure meeting you today, so thank you. All my other coaches out there, some of you here today, Kirk, and I know Fleury really wanted to be here, and Densmore, thank you. My success is very much, I owe it all to you guys, really, my coaches, and it's really appreciative. Thanks to my Wilson cheering section here. I appreciate it. I don't have any grandkids or kids, but I feel like I have a lot of people out there still today, so thank you all for being there. I know that a lot of you actually didn't know the extent of my athletic career, so it's been wonderful sharing that with you today. So thank you all for coming out and showing your love and support. To my beautiful wife, Carrie Ann, thank you for helping me with this event, and also for the past 16 years of dealing with me. I also like to thank my parents for your continued support throughout all of my athletic endeavors. You may have read in my bio that we would actually go to our national event every single year in the summers. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you afforded it. They couldn't afford it, so that competition meant everything to me, so thank you very much for that. And I'd like to thank my father, John O. Wilson. Without you, I wouldn't be here today, standing here as an inductee. From the countless hours you spent catching javelins in our backyard, to the pole vault pits that you made going into our pool, it's absolutely unbelievable the amount of support you've shown. And you are the definition of a supporting father. So thank you very much, and I'd like to give you a round of applause. The man never missed a single event, game, or match in my life, and it's absolutely unbelievable. Where am I? Actually, yeah, you did miss one match, I think. One wrestling match, but that's because the older brother had to go jump over something. So I think that's the one thing that you missed. But seriously, Nick, thank you for being such an inspiration over the years. I've always looked up to you and followed you throughout our sports athletics. You set the bar really high. Nick won states in high jump, that's why it's funny. Thank you. And I would follow your footsteps. I think I did that a little bit too far because you may have noticed in the program that actually I broke my arm in the same football game on the same field playing against the same team as my brother broke his leg my senior year. So that's why I only had 3 years of varsity sports in wrestling and football. But I was able to come back, recover, and go to states in indoor and outdoor track. So. But overall, I'd like to thank you all for the experience here today. That adrenaline that comes back from the memories and the feelings is really what's so important with this event, I think, right? Because you can't even be inducted for 10 years, right? And that's what's so powerful with this event is really the memories. So with that, thank you so much for those memories and bringing me back onto the field and just pumping me with adrenaline, even though it's 2 in the morning. I can't sleep because I'm just sitting there thinking about a coach's speech or that one game that we had in football or a wrestling match, right? It still feels like you're there so many years later. So with that, I'd like to say thank you to everyone here today and good luck in all your upcoming athletic adventures. So thank you.
Whoa! I didn't realize from there to there was, I'm sorry. Okay, so everybody's awake now. At this time, could you please drop the screen one more time? We have a few photos of a few student athletes doing some great things. So at this time, I would like to welcome up Coach Steph Mall, her coaching staff, and the student athletes of the 2011 and 2012 girls softball team at Mynderse Academy. Come on up, ladies, take a seat. They're going to roast you pretty bad. Oh, we can't do it. Hi, Gary, how are you? Hi, Doc. Where do I want you? Right here. You want a podium? Where are you going? Yeah, you do. We're going to take a few questions. No, we're not. I'm sorry. First of all, congratulations, coaches and ladies. Obviously, it was a great endeavor. For a number of years, people say, how can this team not possibly be in the Hall of Fame? Well, as was said earlier, there is a 10-year waiting period because we want to make sure all of these fine student athletes grow up and do tremendous things, which they have done. Every one of them contribute a lot to society. They're tremendous role models for Seneca Falls and Mynderse Academy. And it's a great pleasure to introduce the head coach, Stephanie Mall.
I'm on. All right. I have to hold and talk at the same time. All right. So if you know me, you know this is going to be long. I'd like to begin with a thank you to the Mynderse Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for their tireless dedication in organizing this event. From the selection process to reaching out to all the participants and coordinating the entire weekend of activities, we truly appreciate your commitment to preserving the history of Mynderse Academy athletics. As I look back on the 2011 and 2012 seasons, I want to express my gratitude. First, a big thank you to Mr. Ferrara and Mr. McKeveny for their unwavering support, ensuring we had everything we needed to succeed. Also, the teams would not be here tonight without the dedication and effort from our coaching staff. Morris, Don, Gary, and Doc, thank you for your dedication and commitment to our program. It was an honor to work alongside you. Special appreciation to the Bachmans for attending and keeping stats at every game. Lastly, to our families, your dedication at every game was invaluable. Teams like ours thrive because individuals like you always put kids first. You're all amazing. The 2011 team had an amazing run as they embarked on a journey to go undefeated at 22-0 until their first loss at the Far West Regional. During league play, our team faced three powerhouses of Geneva, Penyan, and Waterloo. I think the girls would agree nothing gave them more satisfaction and drive during the season than going to Waterloo to play them on their senior night. In the past, Waterloo loved to play us for senior night and picked Mynderse purposely, knowing they probably might pull off a big win. It was the 2011 team that set that record straight, earned their respect, and stopped that tradition in years to come. They pulled off a big win that year on their senior night, winning 4-3, continuing on their undefeated streak, and later winning the league championship. The streak did not stop there, because this team powered through sectionals, heading to the Section 5 finals for 4 straight seasons, and earning the 3rd straight Section 5 title. Moving forward through the postseason, we were set to take on Aquinas in the New York State qualifier game, which proved to be an unforgettable 22nd win. I'm going to let the girls take care of that info. On our very first loss of the season resulted in our very last game in the New York State Far West Regional against the all-9 starting team of all seniors from Faulkner. Having their first loss be their final game was heartbreaking, but this team truly set the bar for Mynderse softball program history. With the 2011 team providing a stepping stone, the 2012 team accomplished something that no Mynderse softball team has ever done: a trip to the New York State Championship. Winning is always a highlight with every team, but sometimes a true test of a team's character doesn't come from its wins. It comes from the tough losses and how you overcome those losses. The regular season proved to be a year of some challenges, especially taking 2 difficult losses to Penn Yan during the regular season. However, those 2 losses played a significant role in lighting a fire in the team and providing learning opportunities to capitalize on. Sometimes timing is everything, and I will say that year, with our leadership and experience, everything peaked and came together just at the right time. After winning our 4th straight Section 5 title, we had to play in the state qualifier game against Penn Yan. Those 2 losses during the season proved to be the motivation this team needed to drive forward. Going into the game, I saw a different team, a team that made the necessary adjustments, was focused, determined to come out on top with a 10-5 win to move on to the New York State qualifier for the 3rd consecutive year. This time, the 2000 team broke down a huge wall as they finally achieved their goal of beating Cleveland Hill and becoming the New York State Far West champions. It was for the first time ever that the team would move forward to the New York State softball tournament Final Four. Coming into the New York State semifinal game, we had outscored every single opponent by at least 5 runs and had scored over a total of 40 postseason runs. Facing Valhalla in the semifinals proved to be no match for the girls as they collected 11 hits and went on to win 6-3. Moving forward to the championship game, we faced Chatham, who had only given up 1 run the entire postseason. The girls opened up in the first inning, scoring 2 runs and another run in the 3rd, but fell short 4-3 against Chatham. The loss was heartbreaking for the team. It still burns today. But to be one of the last 2 teams playing softball in the state was truly an honor and showed the heart and drive of this team. In closing, I want to address the girls from these 2 teams. Beyond the wins and losses, playing together was about life lessons that team sports teach us. It was about building relationships, becoming a family, facing fear and failure, showing dedication and determination, overcoming challenges, and staying committed to yourself and to your teammates. Looking at all of you now, I'm incredibly proud of the individuals you've become. Many of you have careers, are married, and some are starting families. I hope you can see how these life lessons from softball apply to your lives. Above all, I want you to know how honored I was to coach each and every one of you, I'm not gonna cry, during your softball career at Mynderse Academy. Congratulations to both the 2011 and 2012 Mynderse Academy softball teams. Now I'd like to take a minute to introduce Courtney Reed, who is from our 2011 softball team.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, no.
On behalf of the 2011 varsity softball team, I just want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for putting on such a great event and making this possible for us. The 2011 varsity softball season was something I think all of us will remember for many reasons. And I obviously want to thank my teammates for making that year unforgettable. There are some other key individuals who are a part of our team that made our season as great as it was. To our amazing families who showed up every game, traveled to away games, brought us food, snacks for the bus ride. We had the best support system the entire season and really had a community behind us, always cheering us on. Having a daughter of my own now, I now realize how much time and effort you have to put into your kids. Granted, mine's not really talking back to me quite yet, but the commitment you all had to take on is something to celebrate as well. You are a huge part of our team, and we couldn't have had a successful season without you. I also wanted to thank Lisa Bachman, who always decorated our lockers, cooked amazing team dinners and cookies. And I want to thank the years before the 2011 season who really provided the stepping stool to shaping our team and the future teams to come. When I was reflecting on the 2011 season, I had a tough time narrowing down what I wanted to say. Like Coach said, we had great league play, defeated the big name schools in the Finger Lakes East, and had an impressive undefeated season of 18-0 going into sectionals. After defeating Wayland-Cohocton in the finals and earning our third consecutive sectional title, we headed to the state qualifier game against Aquinas. We've played Aquinas many times over the previous years and knew how that game wouldn't be easy. We definitely didn't start off our usual dominating selves, and ultimately came down to the bottom of the 7th inning when we were down by 2, had 2 outs, 2 strikes on us, and nobody on base. Aquinas thought they had that game, and I couldn't help but think my high school softball career was over. But a few sophomores on our team, Megan, Jess, and Alicia, all came through and proved everyone wrong. We tied the game, moved into extra innings, and won. I'll never forget the newspaper article that came out that next day. There was a headline of "The Comeback Kids," and there was a huge picture on the front cover of Abby celebrating after that last out, and it looked like she was kicking an Aquinas player to the curb as she headed back to the dugout after that final out. Aquinas was a great team, but we were better. From there, we headed to Brockport to play Falconer in the first round of states. We had arrived before our opposing team and were warming up when the Falconer bus pulled in. Obviously, we stalked them. That's when most of our draws hit the ground, when every single player that walked off that bus was at least 5'10" and had a full lineup of seniors. I won't go into details of that game, but Falconer scored the most amount of runs that were scored against us that season. Sadly, our undefeated season ended with our one and only loss of the year, and Falconer continued on to win this Class B state title. Even though the loss was heartbreaking, especially to Mariah, Cassandra, and myself, who were the 3 seniors, we couldn't have been prouder for such an outstanding last year that ended with the impressive 22-1 record. As I wrap this up, I want to bring attention back to our coaches who put countless hours into practicing, whether it be 5 a.m., 4 p.m., games, traveling, and everything in between. Many of us at this point had been playing softball year-round, and it clearly showed the dedication and hard work that we all put into the sport. Coach Tuttle, who helped with advice, fielding, hitting, and making sure we were always performing to the best of our ability. To my dad, Coach Johnson, who worked with many of us year-round in travel ball, between hitting clinics, pitching lessons, and it was such a great coach to look down the first baseline to win at bat. And to Steph, who most of us were terrified of when she started coaching us. From her infamous saying of "on the line in preseason" to line up behind home plate when it finally stops snowing and we can get on the field. Steph was a great role model to us all, though. I do have one specific story from the 2011 season that I would like to share. This had been my 6th season having Steph as my coach, softball coach. And at this point, I definitely considered her not only my coach, but a friend, and I felt like I knew her pretty well. At the start of the 2011 season, something was different about her. She seemed happier. AKA, we didn't have as much conditioning as we normally did in the past. So we finally figured out she was dating someone. She wouldn't tell us anything. We stalked people in the stands at our games and eventually found out that this mystery man's name started with a J. So we decided to get a replica of what we thought Coach's boyfriend looked like. And he's actually here with us tonight. I would like to introduce the honorary member of the 2011 softball team, Jacob.
His name was not Jacob.
Yes, it was. I'm getting there. Jacob attended all of our games in the dugout, cheering us on, and proudly wore a Mynderse softball jersey. We continued stalking the crowd in search of finding out who Coach was dating. Long story short, after we won sectionals, we finally found out that Coach's boyfriend's name was Jason, not Jacob. So thank you, Jay, for not messing things up with Coach during that time, because we all know that her anger would have resulted in us running more sprints. So again, thank you everyone who made this possible. To my 2011 team, it's so nice to see everyone, and I can't believe it's already been 12 years. Many of us married, have kids, and being here to celebrate this great accomplishment together is truly something special. I hope you all continue to remember what a great year that was, and it was definitely a rock, paper, scissors win kind of season. Thank you.
Almost done. Hello. Oh, is that loud? Sorry. My name's Abby Diger, and I am here representing the 2012 softball team. First of all, I don't have any jokes like Courtney, so apologize for that in advance. Also, Steph had asked me if I had included a couple little anecdotes from here and there, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about softball. If anybody knows me, I'm going to talk about softball. I'm not competitive at all or anything. And it's almost as if Steph and I were talking about the same thing and got our information from the same source. So if I'm a little repetitive, I apologize. But I'm going to give it probably a little more razzle-dazzle. Oh, sorry. On behalf of the 2012 Mynderse softball team, I want to extend our gratitude to the Hall of Fame committee for recognizing the achievements from our 2012 season. I would also like to express our appreciation to everyone who contributed to the success of our team, both directly and indirectly. To our coaches, Steph, Morris, Don, Gary, Doc, thank you for your unwavering commitment to guiding and inspiring us, for pushing us beyond our limits, and for instilling in us the values of teamwork and perseverance. Without your guidance, we would not be here today. I also want to be sure to extend thanks to our families and friends. Your support and encouragement fueled our determination for success, and we owe you our thanks for being there every step of the way. So the expectations for our 2012 team were pretty high, given the success of the teams that preceded us. Having to follow 3 consecutive Section 5 titles really set the bar way up there for us. But instead of shying away from this challenge, we embraced it. The 2012 season, however, was not without its challenges. Specifically, the 2 losses to Penn Yan that made up 2 of the 3 losses that we suffered in the regular season. Those losses were significant because of what was to come in the postseason. For the many returners on our team, the Section 5 tournament was familiar territory. We went on to win our 4th consecutive Section 5 championship against Wayland Cohocton. And then for our state qualifier, our opponent was to be Penn Yan. And the 2 regular season losses loomed in our minds, but we rose to the challenge and defeated them 10-5. We would not allow them to have the final say in our season. We continued our postseason journey in the Far West Regionals, which again was a very familiar contest for us, some of us. We faced Cleveland Hill, and I remember we made quite the statement with our offensive talent. We accumulated 17 hits and won the game 13-6. We then advanced to the New York State semifinals for the very first time, and we wouldn't stop there. In the semifinal contest against Valhalla, we showed that we were more than a collection of individuals, but that we were a cohesive unit. Every batter reached the bases at least once during that game, and we punched our ticket to the finals, defeating Valhalla 6-3. If you had asked us at the beginning of the season if we thought that year we would end up in the state finals, most of us probably would have said, probably not. But at that point, it did not come as a surprise to us. Our team's tenacity and skill was undoubting, and it showed even in that final game against Chatham. They had given up 1 single run in that entire postseason, and their pitcher had just shut out the defending state champions in the semifinals. And to their surprise, but again, not to ours, we once again made a statement in the first inning, scoring 2 runs, giving us an early lead. Unfortunately, in the end, we fell just short of our goal, losing to Chatham 4-3. And although I remember our devastation, especially myself and my fellow seniors, we surpassed everyone's expectations that year. We ended our season with a record of 22-2 2004, a testament to the heights we've reached together as a team. We are grateful to the entire Mynderse Academy community for their support and belief in us. It was with immense pride that we accept this honor, not just for ourselves, but on behalf of all of those who contributed to our success. In closing, on behalf of the 2012 Mynderse Academy softball team, I want to express our overwhelming gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of this special moment. We are deeply honored to join the ranks of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. And we will forever cherish this recognition. Our journey may have ended in 2012, but our memories and the bonds we formed will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Nice job, Abby.
Just a couple of real quick reminders. Once we're done here, this team is going to stay up here to have some photos taken. When they're done, we would like each individual inductee to please stay so that you could have your photo taken. Jacob can stay. I don't have a plaque for Jacob, but that's okay. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome these two teams and their coaching staff into the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame. And first and foremost, head coach Steph Mall. Congratulations. Oh, you want? Doc Hillmeyer. Don Johnson. Gary Felice. Morris Tuttle, who cannot be here this evening. And now starting with the players. Our first one is not unable to be here tonight, Heather Polino. Next member, Allie Deal. Abby Digert. Mariah Foster. Sydney Rogers. Jessica Parrish. Our next member who cannot be here tonight, Aaron Laux. Madison Hillmeyer. Was that? Wasn't that Madison's? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't read. Cassie McGann. Next, Samantha Felice, who was unable to attend. Next is Abby Giovannini, unable to attend. Gabby Deal. Megan Tuttle, who's unable to attend. Megan Felice. Alicia Bachman. Courtney Reed. My apologies, ladies. It was dark. I couldn't read it. I do apologize. Next, Cassandra Felice, who was unable to attend this evening. Again, congratulations, ladies. One final applause to the 2011 and 2012 Mynderse Academy softball teams. Congratulations, ladies. An honor well deserved. Again, a reminder, it's a little understanding, a little late, and this is very formal, but if everyone is welcome to the Seneca Falls Country Club for something a little bit more informal, a soda water or Pepsi or Coke, because none of them are 21 yet. But everybody is invited to come down and enjoy and relax a little bit, and we hope you can please attend. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention tonight. It's a great event. We hope to continue it every year. And a reminder to all of our inductees not to go anywhere, please. First of all, we're going to do the team, and we're going to arrange it so that they can have their photo taken as a group. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.